Okay, we got our wheels here. I'm gonna take off these guys. I don't ever like to ride with reflectors on. So there's a little notch here. I just take that, pop that there, like so. If you want to ever keep the reflector, just keep them. I throw them away, they're pretty cheap. And reflectors are garbage. For the most part. So every once in a while you get rim tape too that rolls on you. Sit around, just take it like so. Make sure you press out your rim tape with your thumb. So we have our cassette here, and we're already greased up down at the wheel. And you're going to find the largest spaced piece here, which is there. Your largest spacer there on the tooth, like so. And you get your next gear there. Your next last gear like that. When you start your nut there, what we're going to have to do is we're going to take off the quick release skewer. I'm going to set that down here. We're going to grab our tool. As you can see, it goes down all the way. It has a little skewer in the center of it, see? Like so. And then you're just going to tighten it. So I get out my adjustable wrench. You could use a socket if you really want to. And you're just going to tighten it now. If you really want to torque it, you got to pull out your big torque wrench like this and you can torque it. I'm not really doing that. It should never come off even at the tightness. Even if it's not fully torqued, you can probably get about 180, 200 pounds. 6 pounds on that. Okay. So next thing we need to do, we need to get some, well, this guy's ready to go. You're going to take, actually not fully, it's not fully ready to go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our rotors. Okay. And as you can see here, we got a little bit of rust. So we're going to come in here to our top piece here. We're going to go around like so. And then like that. Stuff's coming off pretty easily, but you can just kind of take your Brillo pad, just take it to the rotor, into the areas where you got a little bit of rust. It's just surface rust. These are stainless steel. Like so. Just like this. See, that's what all we're doing here, just taking the rust off. It's basic. Now, if you ever get oil on these, take Dawn dishwashing soap. Go over them with the Dawn dishwashing soap and take your pad afterward, or a little bit of sandpaper, and lightly go over it. You know. Normally solve any issues that you have. Now you're going to chew up a Brillo pad. Don't get. You're going to chew it up pretty good. If you really feel you need something maybe a little bit more, some steel will probably work. And then you got a nice clean rotor surface that is free of rust. Okay, so right now, once we have this, a little bit back. Now we had our screws down here. Take 6 screws. These are Torx. Let me get rid of the things on the front wheel. Like I said, I see no need for reflectors on a mountain bike unless you're riding at night. You got kids or something. Or kids are riding. Oh. Okay. So we got our wheel here. We're going to take our rotor. We're going to line it up right to here. Okay. And the wheel's going to rotate this way. There's an arrow on it that says which way it rotates. And we're going to start one at a time with each one of these. I'm gonna go over my toolbox and grab torque key for this. Yep. And I'm going to pull out a wrench, a ratchet, sorry, and our torque wrench right here, because we will be using the torque wrench to torque this. Okay. So if you see any more rust or corrosion, you can kind of rub some of that off. Anywhere you're going to have bolts, you're going to get corrosion. Once you get one bolt in place, the rest will kind of fall in place, like so. So you should have 6. If you feel you really want Loctite, you can Loctite these, but I want to Loctite them. I want to recommend greasing them though. This is a bolt screw that you don't want to really grease. You don't want your them to come loose and your brakes to come loose. It's the last thing you really want to happen. One thing you might want to do is, if you have gone and just scrubbed them off, with the Brillo pad, go ahead and get the dust off there. So, let's see here. Ratchet really is the piss. What kind of got here? I'm gonna pull out one of my bad ones that wasn't any good. tighten a little bit. We got a rear wheel. Okay, so got a little bit of dirt in there, so I'm going to take one of my rags. And I'm going to grab my rag and I'm going to clean it out here, being careful not to get anything on the rotor itself. Okay, so that is our rear wheel. We'll get the tires on that in a second. Okay, so next is our front wheel. You can see you got a little bit of rolling in the tire or the wheel liner, the wheel tape. It just rolls from time to time. They sit around when you have pre-made wheels in small shops. They do roll. Can happen. Not a big deal. Just take it. Gonna roll it out like so. Press your finger along the edge like this, and it'll flatten out. So we're going to take these guys off. So take these other bolts off. Put them over here on our chair or work chair. Of course, we're going to clean this rotor off as well. Take that rotor off. Put this wheel off to the side like so. Take our rotor, once again go over it, making sure we get every bit of rust and grime off of it. Okay, so almost done here. Of course, as you can see, we got a lot of dust on the ground. We made ourselves a mess. Okay. That's done there. We're going to take our front wheel. Line that up there. Like so. I'm going to grab another ratchet. There, that sounds a little bit better. It moves a little quicker too, so. The first bolt, even though they're not, you don't have to go cross from them. The first bolt down, you don't want to over crank it and warp the rotor. Just kind of like that. You can go ahead and crank both bolts down. We're also going to change our barn stem. So that's going to get pulled. So, there we go. Make sure you torque the screws that are down. It doesn't have to necessarily be with a torque wrench, you just want to tighten them, make them feel tight. You can go back and use the torque wrench afterwards. We're not going to do it right now, I have the torque wrench out obviously. Okay, to do that we're just going to these labeled, they're a little sketchy on this, so I'm going to peel them off. They're giants. I know it's saying a giant bike is on the back. So this little parts on here. A lot of people will complain, but I am limited on what kind of parts I can get. So trying to keep the bill pretty inexpensive. For you guys. Okay, that's on, so that's our second wheel. Okay, so so we can put those kind of to the side right now, and then we're going to head up to our bar and stem. I'll also show you what we're going to do with these guys here. These are going to get sprayed off, cleaned off, and we're going to reuse these guys. So let's go on to the next part. So first thing we want to do, since we're going to be replacing the stem with this guy here, so we want to get our, that's a shorty stem, like that, and we're going to put it in up mode, like so. Take the warning, you got this little warning label, I always peel those off. I'll keep them on there. If for some reason the label didn't come off and it leaves a lot of gunk, some nail polish remover, or we'll typically take it off. And I'm looking to interesting. Where our 5mm went. A 4mm. So we're going to pull out a 4mm. This particular stem. We're going to pull out all the bolts. We're going to set them down. Out of our way. What we're going to actually do first, we're going to take our handlebars, which we have here. And this is, you might recognize this stem. This is the exact same stem I have on my Jamis mount, or Jamis bike. Now, if you actually look at the bars sideways, you'll see where they start to curve back and curve up at the same time. And that's how we're going to actually have our handlebars pointing. So I'm going to start off by, doesn't need to be perfect at first. I'm just kind of trying to center it up. I'm just putting them in there so I can, because we're going to have to swap over our levers. Swap over our levers. As you can see here, that's what we're doing here. That bolt in there. They had a super shorty one, which would have worked for the standard bars if I was keeping the original bars, but it was too nice for the bars, in my opinion. So I go crossways like this to get the gap right. If you go this way, it might not gap perfectly. So I go here and here, and then I look at the gap on that side and the gap on that side, and then I get it right. Once I actually start tightening it down though, I'll do that, like so. And we're going to leave it a little bit loose. We don't want to put the handlebars on. Now we're going to go to our larger, our 5. Our big 5mm. Okay. We're going to set it right there. And then we're going to go to this bar and stem. We're going to unbolt here. Or loosen, we're not going to completely unbolt. We're loosening up. Like so. We got the top cap to do. It's the same size as our one thing you want to do is hold on to your stem like this. Or sorry, your